How's it going?
Good.
Not good? Yeah. What's the plan?
Smile.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep. I just tired of pushing my bike uphill.
Yeah.
It's too much for me. I want to ride my bike. Accomplish it.
When you get out there and you start questioning why you're doing this, you can't say I sandbagged it, you know? It's called doom. Doom is this ballpark 390-mile route that winds its way through the Ozark National Forest. This route basically goes over hills, down into valleys on repeat for over 40,000 feet of elevation gain and loss.
Hell yeah, Jeff!
Woo!
Yeah, man!
Yeah!
Good work.
1:23 a.m.
42:23.
You murdered that.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around. I think I got murdered.
There is a reputation around Doom. If you get on Instagram, Andrew's known for wearing that scream mask. You know, Andrew has a tradition of handing out gremlin bells for the racers. If anyone that rides motorcycles knows gremlin bells, you know, are supposed to be hung on your motorcycle or your car to ward off evil spirits. So I think when Andrew made the course, he understood just how really hard and difficult it was.
I didn't design it with the idea of I want to make sure that always less than 50% of the people finish. I just created this route that I knew was really hard, and I cheer on every single person as if they will finish.
Did that shake out about how you thought it would?
Truly, if 69 people showed up and 69 people finished, I would be over the moon happy about it. I just know it's not realistic because it is that hard.
I first heard about Doom because I ended up meeting Andrew Honorma, and Andrew was actually someone who served as a big motivating person in the bikepacking and ultra distance, you know, community.
Zach made a trip down to Fayetteville to ride an event we made. That 100-mile ride was, I think at the time, the biggest thing he ever did.
We are 5 miles away from the only stop of the day, and I'm doing okay on water, but I could use a burger, and we turn right to bomb down this hill. And I remember that during the descent, it felt like a boulder had hit me in the quad, which I thought was interesting. It wasn't a boulder, my cell phone. So I get all the way down to the bottom of the hill and have to hike back up to get it. And my legs are cramping, but it's beautiful out here.
To see the progression of where he's at now is super inspiring.
When he created the course and I saw how diabolical it was, I kind of wrote it on, you know, the whiteboard for a few years, you know, down the road when I was a more experienced cyclist. And it just so happened that this year, Andrew opted to create a shorter but still very difficult route in the same area called Despair.
Despair is basically the half version of Doom. 200 miles instead of 400 miles, but it's still heavy metal the whole time.
It felt a little more digestible for me as someone who's, you know, newer into the activity, and just seemed like a good fit. The route starts at Horseshoe Canyon, and then the racers go down the Ponca downhill mountain bike trails. From there, the course goes south towards the Buffalo Headwaters School, and there's another little bit of single track. After the single track, you work your way down to the OARC General Store in OARC, Arkansas. From there, you're climbing all the way back up towards the northeast, towards that Mount Judy area, and then you eventually keep on climbing back to Horseshoe Canyon. Self-supported ultra-distance events essentially means that whatever you have on the bike at the start line is what you carry throughout the course with the understanding that you can stop at gas stations or country stores, general stores. You can find any other resource that's readily accessible to any other racer.
Found these tamales just like at a gas station. Amazing.
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of those.
These things are so good.
You gotta be really smart with what you're carrying. And if you wanna complete the route and sleep a night or two, it's the same thing. It's just you need to eat more because you're out there for longer.
So I got all my sleeping stuff here, and I'm just like, I guess like whenever I'm ready to sleep, I'll just pull over and sleep. I don't know, I guess that's what you do, is you just pull over and sleep.
Bikepacking and ultra distance riding is difficult. When stuff goes wrong, you know, you have to know how to comfort yourself and figure stuff out and problem solve.
I got a puncture that was a bit difficult to seal on the chunky downhill.
Yeah, catastrophic saddle failure.
I'm expecting it to be a lot more gnarly and a lot more physically demanding than some of the other races I've done. I also expect it to be really beautiful. That part of Arkansas is one of a kind. It'll be nice to be immersed in the beauty of the Arkansas terrain. Also, I'm excited to meet people who I've seen on Instagram, and we've kind of sent messages back and forth. It's nice to always, expand your network of friends. But at the same time, my expectation is to finish it. Something that's really interesting about the Despair and Doom weekend is my birthday is March 31st, which is Sunday, which is also Easter. So I can't think of a better way to celebrate my birthday than waking up somewhere and riding my bike to the finish line.
Welcome everyone to the 3rd edition of Ozark Gravel Doom. Getting here was half the battle. Now finally you just get to go ride your damn bike. You might be pushing it some too. Even if it takes you a full week, but you did the whole route and you follow the rules, I'm gonna be so happy for you. Be at the Trading Co. parking lot at 6:45 a.m. That's when you get your bells. That's a crucial part of all of this. Seriously, thank you everybody so much for being here. Go get your burrito if you need it. I'll see everybody in the morning.
So we just wrapped up the pre-race meeting, and we gave us kind of the rules and the rundown of what's going to happen this weekend. So now everyone's just kind of congregating and talking about their strategy. After talking to my friend Nick about the single track, a little more nervous than I was about an hour ago. My buddy Nick rode the single track.
This is bad. Dude, just remember, you can walk.
I know.
It's not that many miles.
All right.
I'm gonna be walking.
Not too nervous. I know the first day is probably going to be pretty tough with all the single tracks, so I'll just try to stay mentally strong and not get caught up in how slow or fast I'm going. So plan is to get to the OR General Store hopefully before nightfall, but we'll see how it goes.
Hey, good morning, Zach. Godspeed.
I think it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Just gonna take it chill and enjoy it. Don't really have a time limit. Just want to get back here in one piece and enjoy myself. So I feel good.
The start of this race is pretty interesting. You actually have to climb out of the ranch here. Once you climb out of the ranch, you take the pavement and you essentially bomb or descend all the way down to the Buffalo River. And then we eventually work our way to Ponca, Arkansas, which is where a lot of the climbing starts. The climb up Ponca was a very steep and twisty-turny double track. A lot of walking the bike. Spent a lot of time and a lot of sweat and energy just getting up to the Ponca BOC downhill. I think it was a wake-up call for a lot of people of what the course elevation profile would look like.
So it begins. This is beautiful.
The Ponca downhill mountain bike trail started at mile 13 or 14. Truly, I was feeling good. I felt like my legs were warmed up going through that climb up there. I think something that was in the back of my mind was a little bit of anxiety. I wasn't entirely super confident in my skills going through some of that mountain bike stuff with a bike that's a little underbiked and a little heavy with the baggage. And then the first section of that downhill was really, really hard. A lot of times it was unclipping, getting off the bike, pushing it over these rock gardens, these wet, slippery rock features. And it was a lot of hike bike. So we took that Ponca downhill all the way to essentially the bottom, and then you have to kind of climb back up to that double track climb that takes you back up to Ponca.
Just got to the bottom and we're climbing back up to do the double track climb again. So yeah, it's beautiful out here, but this is tough. So just keep going. Yeah.
That was the first time I had felt very tired. I think I walked more the second time than I did the first time. And I think when Andrew made the course, it was with this diabolical mindset of how much punishment can I dish out to some of these racers.
Tell me what Zach's like.
He's the guy that everyone whines to about everyone else because he's super calm. He's like, yeah, just let it be. He'll be all right.
I don't know about super calm. Calm on the surface, but...
So when we left the Silverville Church, there's a little bit of pavement you have to ride on, and then you cross over a county highway and you are right into the Ozark gravel rollers that everyone is so, familiar with riding. The course took you through a lot of very scenic and pretty cattle country. It was about 20 miles from Stoverville to the next stop, which was the Buffalo Headwaters School. That school is a very important marker on the course for a lot of people who need a rest or need some water or even a place to sleep.
There's a secret about riding in the Ozarks. It's called pizza in a bag. It's how it's done. Aged about 12 hours.
The Buffalo Headwaters School is really cool because there is water that you can filter there. So we stopped for a little bit, took a 10 to 15 minute break, refilled water, got a snack, then kept going. When you leave the Headwaters School, you have a mile or two climb on some pavement before you get into some of the forested area where the single track lives. I think at that point, I was just trying to pedal very easily, take my time, not put a lot of power through the bike because I knew that the single track was gonna be the hardest part of the course.
We're about ready to get into the second part of single track on the course, which is the Buffalo Headwaters single track, I guess. It's about 15 miles. This will be the last single track section of the route, so I'm excited to get it over with.
Going into the race, we understood that this Buffalo, Headwaters single track was about 14 to 15 miles, which doesn't seem like a lot. If you're riding a mountain bike and it's a 10-mile ride, you can probably knock that out in an hour or so.
That bad, huh?
We just came out of the Headwaters single track. Bars.
Just not flowy, just super rough.
It took a long time. Like a very long time.
There's definitely a chance of it. Do I just call it? Definitely do. I don't even know. Never scratched.
Still single tracking. I think we've got 5 miles left to go. This is the hardest part of the entire course, and I am pretty beat down. So
Just trying to get out of here as quick as I can.
Adding the single track, I got to throw in a little bit more chunky, rowdy stuff that I really enjoy. Some people didn't enjoy it so much.
That back half of the single track was a pretty dark, a pretty tough moment for myself, and I'm sure other people as well.
My disposition has totally changed. Y'all just took off and I was like, oh, well, so lonely out there.
I spent a lot of time getting off and back on the bike to push it up hills and to hike. And there were moments where I thought I would have to walk 7 miles out of there just to get back to where we dropped in at. These races are hard because as soon as you start to slip mentally, it can be kind of hard to get out of that space. Those dark thoughts start to come in and just really make you kind of think, what the hell am I doing out here? Once I left the single track section, it was definitely a sigh of relief that I wouldn't have to be pushing my bike at 1 mile an hour up any trails.
Single track's done, on the way to our general store for the night. I think I've got like 26 miles to go or something, so I'll get there right when the sun goes down, I reckon. The golden hour is coming up, so should be a nice Friday evening out here in Arkansas. So just gonna ride my bike.
Well, it is contrary to the last update I got where I was pretty stoked on things. I have decided to end my ride on despair. It just kind of happened really quickly. My knees are hurting and feel like they're gonna blow up. And then mentally, I'm just not like having a good time. It's a tough course. I love riding bikes, and I feel like to preserve my love for bikes, I just needed to stop. So also I miss my partner Brooke and my daughter Mercy a lot, and I'm just ready to get home and see them and yeah, get back to my normal routine. So I've got some friends picking me up over there. I hung out by this creepy ass house with a beautiful sunset. So it's been fun. I think I'll be back. I don't know though.
I think most people drop from just the sudden realization of what it actually is. Most people that are gonna drop already know they're gonna drop within the first 12 hours.
I don't think I was expecting to get hit so quickly, climb after climb.
You have to make the decision now if you're gonna drop out, because if shit hits the fan, like you're out there.
In the end, like the cold, the lack of resupply, and just going into a wilderness area as my next part of my route just didn't make sense for me.
I pulled the plug in Boston, Arkansas, right next to a cemetery, which is fitting for this route. I did 100-mile 2 weeks ago, 400-mile last weekend, and of course this 200-mile despair. So my hands were pretty shot. If I can't open my hydration nozzle with one hand like I usually can, then I don't trust myself going downhill at 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. So all these thoughts start building up in my head about, you know, just where I'm at physically. I knew that I had given it all that I could give it, and I didn't want to go home and hate my bike, you know? I want to go home and rest for a week or two and then go ride my bike with friends. I don't want to look at my bike as some, you know, torturous device that I will never want to ride again. I'm just really grateful for all these people, these events. And the reason that I do all these things is just to hang out with the people and friends that I made along the way.
Tomorrow's my 35th birthday, and so my friend Casey got me a chocolate pudding cake, so can't beat it. It's also another rider's birthday tomorrow, so he comes in this afternoon, so we're gonna share this.
I've never had anything, you know, in my life that does as much for me as bikepacking and bikepack racing and seeing and making friends and seeing other people's successes, you know. Andrew's the same way. You know, whether you take 24 hours to finish this route or you take an entire week, you know, he's gonna celebrate you and how you did it.
I'm sure he was a little bummed after this to have not completed his Triple Crown trifecta of March, but you still got to look at the big picture, and he would smash old Zach silly on any climb or any race.
Saying goodbye to Horseshoe Canyon Ranch, saying goodbye to despair. Happy with how everything turned out. Ready to get home, ready to get back to normal life, and ready to get started on training to come back and do it next year. Bye.